Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Talking Real Estate to a Champions Real Estate team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Service Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner, the second team leader here. Hope everyone had a great holiday and Happy New Year. We're ready to kick off the new year. Like I said, every Wednesday we jump on and give a rundown what's going on in the real estate market over the last couple of weeks, or at least over the last week. And then through the holiday season because we took 2 weeks off on there from doing the video. Quick tip today. So this is the time of year that you start putting all your holiday decorations away, and things of that sort. And you're probably possibly thinking of, oh, should we move? Should we remodel? Should we do some of those things? That's the time to get in touch with us here at Champions Real Estate Team and just get a game plan and just get an idea of what is the next step. If that's something you're kind of considering, either buying a new house, selling the current one, even getting into the real estate investing side of it. But that's just something we like to do when you have those ideas, those thoughts pop up, reach out to us. And that way we can get a good idea of what's going on and where you're at. And just provide as much information as possible so that you guys can make the best decision for you. And that's our goal here. My background, I coached high school hockey for, I think, 15 years or so. I think about it from 2005, 2010, all the way through until about 2020 when my kiddos were born. But that's kind of how my mindset works is, you're in the off season right now. If you're thinking about selling your house in the spring, now is the time to get in touch with us here so we can get a game plan for you rather than giving us a call in the spring and say, hey, we want to put our house on the market in 2 weeks. You can be prepping and doing the things that you need to do now to make sure that you are ready to go. Your house is prepped and all that fun stuff. But yeah, give us a holler. Numbers down here, 672-7670. Reach out to us here, and we're happy to get with you and get a good idea of what's going on and just get a game plan for you. So that's kind of our quick tip today. So let's jump into what's gone on in the real estate market over the last 7 days here. So new listings, we had 579 new listings go live in the last 7 days here. And then we had 237 new contracts written over the last 7 days, and then 272 happy new homeowners over the last 7 days. So, activity-wise, contracts are down a little bit, which is typical this time of year. And I think obviously we've had nice weather, and we're going to probably get, I think it's supposed to get a little crummy, later this week. But, this is a time that seriously get out there because there's obviously a decent amount of houses still on the market. Some sellers are willing to be more, flexible, possibly on price or even concessions as far as closing costs or things like that to look into. So, instead of waiting to the spring when more buyers enter that buyer's market, now is obviously the time to get in there. Because some people right now too, sellers may think, oh, it's well into the holidays, let's just take it off the market. We'll put it back on the market in the spring. And that's something I pay attention to with my buyers and my clients is that, hey, let me look and see what has expired or what's got canceled. And those typically those sellers still want to sell their house, and we can potentially reach out to them and see if they're still willing to sell their house and go from there in regards to getting a house maybe not on the market right now. And they may say, well, let's wait till the spring or something like that. So there's different avenues that we can do, finding you a house and different plays that we have in our playbook in regards to that. So like I said, new contract written a little bit lower. New listings is kind of up, from previous weeks. But yeah, it's very typical this time of year. So let's jump into the 30,000 foot view is here. Just a second here. There it is. All right. So as we see here, we had 3,601 houses on the market in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS. So that's basically most of eastern Nebraska here is kind of covered and blanketed in that MLS area. And then Douglas, Sarpy County, so breaking down to the Omaha metro area, but just over 2,000 homes on the market. So prior to Christmas, when we see here my numbers here, we had about 2,200, 2,250. So we're down a little bit. So some of those people may have taken off for the holidays and things of that sort. Like I said, maybe going to relist it in the spring, as weather gets a little nicer. Obviously, it's nice right now. Kind of uncharacteristic, unseasonal for what we have, almost 60 degrees today. So, and then existing homes, about 1,000, 1,020, 1,019 there in Douglas, Sarpy County. New construction, right around that 900, right around that 1,000 house mark, just under that number there. So months of inventory at 3.2, and then average sold price is kind of right around that 360 ballpark, which is very typical on that side. So the other thing too on new construction, as we look at new construction, if you're meeting with a builder or you're thinking about meeting with a builder, now's the time to do it. Before typically this time of year, builders will basically send out their plans and stuff to their subs and kind of get it rebid. And so, because the cost of materials, the cost of labor, those things may change. And then basically that builder is going to turn around and say, all right, our base price is 450, now, and then all of a sudden that base price may go to 470 because, they've sent it out to their contractors and their contractors came back and said the cost to build this house this year is going to be X. And if it's a little bit more, they're going to, bump those prices up a little bit. So that's something too, if you're thinking about new construction, you know, need to get on the ball on that one before some of these builders, kind of resubmit some of their plans and specs and stuff out to their subs. So that's something that if you're thinking about doing that, get in touch with us. Happy to work with you on the new construction side of it to get that house done for you, in the next year or so. So, anyways, yeah, as far as mortgage goes, talked to Russ today, Russ Williams at Williams Mortgage. Rates are just a little bit better than they were last week. There's some important economical data coming out from the labor side of it, on what the jobs are doing and things of that sort. So we'll be interested to see what that comes out this week. So mortgage rates and things of that sort are usually kind of one of those driving things. The forecast I've seen for 2026 basically being, kind of right around that 6% to 6.25 is kind of the forecast I've seen from Realtor.com and the Zillows and all those kind of the big players in there, what they're thinking. And any swing of those markets coming, I think if we get a 5.75, 5.8, 85 or whatever, I think if we get that magic number, that 5 in there, I think that's going to get us spur some more activity from buyers going, hey, interest rates are in the fives and they're going to jump in the pool. And that's going to create more market activity, in that regards. But I'm thinking it's going to be kind of right around that 6% mark, which I think is still very favorable for what we've seen. Obviously the last couple of years been in that 7 ballpark. Obviously, previous to that was at 3%, which is historically low. I don't know if we'll see those again. But so anytime if you have any questions, give us a holler. I'm here at Champions Real Estate Team. Numbers down here at the bottom, 672-7670. If you have any questions, happy to help you. And we'll see everybody next week. And have a good week. Enjoy the nice weather.